shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So please, don't hide, just say I'll be there if it breaks, right beside you. Suddenly I know now how it feels. I no longer have to beg or steal. I can stand now on this higher ground, where love is just a sound. Where love is...
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's early.
It's too early.
Our first episode. Let's see who we got in here today. Hold on. Comments. There we go. First time, okay? It's going to have our first time glitches. First of all, everyone, can you guys hear us? We just want to make sure that our sound is working.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I know you can hear
Everyone
me.
else?
I want to make sure everyone live can hear us. Maybe they're just seeing us all quiet and we're here just like, loud and clear.
Maybe.
Thanks, Paul. Paul, you're up early. Who else do we have in here? We got Sean Akana. We got, my hubby, Gerald. He's in there. You guys are troopers to get up this early, and it's a daylight savings time, so technically it's 8.
Yeah.
But we're here with our coffee to talk about Cresties. So welcome to Coffee and Cresties. I'm Crystal Crabtree, and I'm from Gecko Diva.
And I'm April from ALP Morphs.
And we're fairly new to the Cresty hobby, but we thought, it'd be fun to do a little podcast and have, some fun talking to other people who are new in the hobby and maybe get some, new breeders online and have them share their experience as well. So bear with us in our first episode as we get through this. So I guess we'll start just kind of giving a little background about us. Did you want to go first, April? Or did you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Go first. So I started in the hobbies with ball pythons in 2017. And I was breeding ball pythons, and then I met you and Gerald, and you were like, hey, look at these cute little buggers. And that's what happened. It just kind of exploded. Yeah.
And you had some pretty nice stuff too, eh? You kind of took a little mini break with ball pythons, but I don't think you're done with it yet.
No, I still have some. I sold most of my collection and only kept the eggs. And then the eggs hatched. And now I have babies that I'm keeping because my clown had proved a lace clown. And let me tell you, I'm really kicking myself in the ass for selling her as a clown because somebody out there has a lace clown female for a fraction of the price. So, ouch. But yeah, so I'm basically just starting over with the ball pythons. And I'm heavy into Cresties.
I remember you getting into Cresties. So for me, so we got into ball pythons, and that was in, I guess 20, Gerald might correct me, but I think it was like in 2020. And really it was just kind of like a hobby, right? At first it was, our daughter Emma wanted to get one, and then we kind of grew to love it and then started acquiring more and more until we realized we had to build a reptile room. And of course it exploded from there. But the Cresties, so I had been seeing, you watch all these YouTubes and videos online on reptile keeping and, different, you get to kind of get exposed to different species of reptiles. And it came up a lot. There was all these videos of these little, I call them pocket dragons because that's what they look like. They're these tiny little dragons that fit in your hand. And I was like, okay, those are kind of cute. And then you start doing research and finding more about their care and seeing if it's something that you'd be interested in. And I just, one day randomly decided, hey, I'm going to get one of these and let's check out our local Kijiji, which for people in the States is like Craigslist, but way better than Craigslist. Like I have to
Yeah.
say, Kijiji and Craigslist, you can't really compare. We have Craigslist here too, and no one uses it because Kijiji's like on the next level. But I would say, yeah, so like I found this little gecko in Ottawa and I went and picked it up. Didn't tell Gerald. He had no idea that I was getting this gecko, and I just randomly showed up with it. And he's like, "Oh, what did you get now? What did you bring into this house?" I'm like, "Oh, look how cute it is." And it's this tiny little hatchling, right? He's probably about 5 grams. And it's super cute. And had no idea that it would then, blow up to what it is now. And yeah, started going from there. But I think like a lot of many new keepers, you kind of have no direction when you decide that you want to get into breeding, right? You're seeing all these morphs and you get kind of hit with morph after morph, and you kind of it's the same with the ball pythons. You want to collect them all. It's like Pokemon cards. You end up wanting to like get, every single pretty color and pattern. And like you found that too, April?
Yeah, I feel like you're like putting me on the spot here. Like that's exactly how it was.
Well, I've been through it too, because let's be honest, when you came over, like, so we met because we ended up getting a ball python from you. And the whole thing was like, oh, hey, would you like to get into geckos? Maybe we can
Yeah,
like
and we
do
traded. Yeah,
a little tradesy or something. And you're like, geckos? I have no idea what that's about. So
I
then you
have
came
no idea
over.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. Little did you know. So you come into this gecko room and you're like, whoa, these are amazing.
Yeah, and I remember Gerald's face. Like he looked so shunned. Like he was like, "Wow," because I'm in your side. He's like, "How rude."
You're here for ball pythons, and I'm so excited to show you my snake collection, and you're like more interested in these geckos. He's all excited to have like a ball python breeder here to come and see the snakes.
Oh, that was
Sorry,
good.
P,
That
but
was
I
fun.
stole her. It is what it is. But
Uh,
yeah, no, it was funny because at that time I had started getting into it, but I felt like I was in a place where I was very overwhelmed, and I think it's because I ended up getting so many different like variety of crested geckos, and I didn't really have an idea or a path on where I wanted to go with it, right? Or like what exactly I wanted to focus on for breeding. So with that, like when you came and visited the room, I was actually thinking of maybe not even pursuing it at that point. I was thinking of
yeah,
like
I
getting out of
remember.
geckos. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like, it rejuvenated, I guess, my focus into it. And I was like, oh, I was kind of on the fence. I'm like, do I want to do this and branch out on my own and do my own things? And I do really enjoy them. I was going to keep some as pets anyways, but at the end of the day, I was like, do I focus more on the ball pythons or do I really kind of pursue the geckos? But I mean, as you can see, there's windows behind me. So we have his and her reptile rooms. So I kind of feel a little invested. So unless this room was going to become a room full of ball pythons.
You were looking into the king snakes at one point too, eh?
No, is that house
Was it
snakes?
king house snakes? Not
House
king
snakes.
snakes.
I still have
House snakes.
some. Yeah, I wanted to get into the house snakes and kind of expand on a different African species of snake. So kind of branch off of the VIP morphs thing so that there'd be something else other than ball pythons on the table. But so they're really cute. Like I have, the little one, I have the little Togo house snake, Ziggy, and he's adorable. And then I got an albino, and like I started getting into different morphs, which there's not a lot of them here. Yeah, do you see Gerald saying I'm afraid of them? And I'm getting distracted. I probably here. See, there we go. She's afraid of them. Okay, I'm afraid of one of them. Her name is Karen, and she's a terrible, terrible black house snake who's evil. Who else? Oh, yeah. So it's it was kind of an experience with them. I still really like, there's some of them that I still really enjoy. Paul, the house snakes don't get very big. The males stay really small. I think the females are about 3 feet. So the females get much larger. Um, the largest female I have right now, she's an adult, ready to breed, and she's smaller than my corn snake. So they stay fairly small. And the males are smaller, much smaller, but they're a little bit more spicy. They like to, well, anyways, the black house snakes are very nippy. I have a green one and I wanted to get into maybe doing some hypo greens, but there's not many morphs in Canada, so you kind of have to import from the States. Paul says, and you're afraid of them. Yes, because she's mean and she tries to attack my face. So soon as I open that bin to give her water, she launches out of the bin directly for my face. And it's not the fact that it's the bite. It's like the bite doesn't hurt. I mean, it's a small snake. We've been bitten by hatchlings. April, I'm sure you have too. I think I lost your volume. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
it's a strike that's scary. So I don't know what happened, but my earbuds like stopped working.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
just
and now I have an echo in your feed.
I'm sorry. My earbuds are not working.
Now I'm going to hear myself in double.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to sort out a volume issue. Try different earbuds. Assert dominance. Yeah, well, Chris, I think what my problem is I don't have a snake hook. I think I need to like get over it. I know I'm being a big baby. They're not that scary. They're tiny snakes. I just have to get over it. G laughs at me all the time because he thinks I'm ridiculous, but they're not all mean. Just one of them. You good? I still can't hear you. Yeah. Jesus, first time issues. It happens. Oh, so how's everyone doing this lovely morning? Wait, waiting for April to sort out her volume.
Back. Can you hear me?
You. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not in echo, which is awesome.
Awesome.
Gerald, get her a
So
snake
great.
hook, Shauna. I should just pick one up, honestly. He just puts his hand in the tub, but he's got like, beast hands, so he doesn't care and no fear.
Yeah,
To
no,
me,
he
it's the jumpiness. And I think that's what I really like about geckos because they don't really turn around, like from my experience anyways. I'm sure it's different for other people, but like for me, like when they're gonna like go to bite you, I find that they kind of like warn you, like they open their mouth, they kind of turn before they actually launch. But I know you had kind of a bitey one, eh?
Yeah, I'm like looking at you like, what is a warning? No. My red harlequin, my radish, she would just bite me. She'd just bite me. No warning, no nothing. Just bite me and she would actually like grab skin. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you biting me?
Has she gotten better though? Because you say she was like kind of calmed down, eh?
Yeah, she did come down a lot. I think she was really bitey because she was gonna lay a pair of dud eggs. Because since
Okay.
she laid that last set of duds, she hasn't been snippy.
Yeah. So she's been more comfortable. You know who bit me yesterday for the first time ever?
Oh no, who?
Bowser. He's like this.
No.
He's on my list to talk about today, and because he's the absolute sweetest gecko ever, like the biggest sweetheart. But I guess he was just really annoyed with me yesterday, trying to take a picture in the light box because I was like kind of plopping him around, like, oh, turn this way, let's have you face this way for the picture, and then he was just like, girl, stop touching me. And he just like turned around and like bit me right on the finger. I was like, okay, Bowser's in the mood today. Yeah. Did we lose your audio? Yeah, we lost it again. Oh no. April's gonna have to get this sorted out. She's gonna have to get herself a mic. Come on, April. I can only hold a conversation for so long.
I need one of those microphones.
Chris, I think April is like Jared. He's making fun of the fact that your volume is this more Brian though in a morning show situation.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes,
Am I
there we go.
back?
Oh, you're back.
Oh, I need one of those microphones that you have. That really cool one that's changing
Yes,
colors.
it's so fancy and it changes colors. Amazon. See? It's beautiful.
It is beautiful and it works.
Everyone's gonna see it tonight on the Lamest podcast because Gerald copied me and got a microphone too. He liked mine so much.
He was like, "Oh, I want one."
That one's really cool. I gotta get one of those.
Oh.
So I think we can give a little rundown on how these podcasts are going to work. But to do that, we have these segments that we're going to play, and we'll kind of go through so this is their first episode, so we're kind of giving you the intro of what's going to be expected and what we're going to do, and it's not just going to be us kind of just sitting here and talking about what we had for breakfast or lack thereof early morning on a Sunday. So I think it's gonna be fun to kind of go through this one and just kind of explain what we're gonna do and what we're hoping to gain. So let me just bring this up and we'll start. All right, so our first segment is It's Tea Time. And I forgot to share this. This is my mug. So our coffee and Cresties is going to be showing off some cool mugs and stuff to kind of promote things. Oh, she's got her Timmy's this morning.
This
And I
is
got
every morning.
This is Gold Digger. And I have my lovely Nespresso machine, which I'm absolutely addicted to and got for Christmas
Actually,
too as well.
I have a really cool coffee cup. Look at this.
Ooh, it even has your logo on it. Look at that.
It has my snake shed in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who ended up doing that?
Marissa's Crafty Cups.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you just send her a snake shed and she'll make a cup?
Yeah, basically. So what happened was I got this cup and I was like, this cup is way too big. Like I didn't realize it was gonna be this big. Like look at it in my hand, okay?
Yeah.
I can't be a mom with a cup this size. So I ended up ordering a different
everyone's
one.
rocking the Stanley cups. So technically you can be a mom with a cup that size, but I think those have handles.
Yeah, this doesn't have a handle. So
Yeah.
anyways, it's just a decoration. I have another one that I use all the time, and like I literally the bottom is all chipping off because I use it so much. But oh well.
Yeah. So our tea time, I think we don't want to get too much, I think, into the nitty gritty gossip that's going on, although that would probably be a lot of fun. But I think it's going to be mainly we'll talk about what's going on, what's new in the hobby. So first, we have the date now for the next expo in Toronto, which escapes me.
April 14th.
April 14th. There we go. Oh, Gerald's saying drama. Yeah, I'm sure there will be some. There's always stuff that comes up, but I don't want to be one of those. Well, we can talk about certain things, I'm sure. And if you guys have things you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to pop it in the chat. Yeah, so April and I are going to go to the expo and go meet people and pick up some new geckos that we're not going to talk about right now. But if you follow us, you know, because I'm sure you saw them on stories. But very excited about that. April, you haven't been to the Toronto Expo, have you?
I haven't been to an expo ever.
ever. So this is like your first time going to a
This is
reptile.
my like
Your mind is going to be
first
blown.
first time, like first time. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I need to take a whole bunch of money with me, like a lot of money, because the impulses are going to be there.
Well, and your question was, sorry, go ahead.
Or I should leave all my money at home because the impulses will be there.
G says we're popping your cherry by taking you to the expo.
It's going to be so much fun.
And your question was like, how much money do I bring for this? It's like, well, as much as you want to bring.
Yeah, like I don't
Depends on
know.
what you buy, you know?
I feel like I need to be prepared, right? Because nothing is worse than like seeing something that you really want after you just spent all your money on something else, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And G was like, oh, like, how are you guys going to do this coffee and Cresty thing in the morning when we're driving to Toronto for the expo? I was like, that's a great question.
let's
Like,
just get on
maybe
our phone.
we'll just get on our phone and maybe we'll do it like live on one screen or something from the truck. I think that would be entertaining. And then we can have G on as our guest for that week because he'll be
Yeah.
by default. Or I guess car. He can hold the screen. Oh, I'm driving. That's right. So he can hold the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I might be sleeping because that's like really early that I need to get up to go to
Either
Toronto.
that or we move it to like Saturday morning for that week or something that might work better.
Yeah.
Chris, it's like a casino. Only bring what you want to spend. It's
Some
exactly it. But there's
yeah,
always a situation where you find something and you're like, I could spend more on that one. I'm willing to go more.
right, always. And even at the casino, like if you are a gambler, is there really a limit though? Like
Yeah. She says he'll be on if we do it on the drive. And G's going to be the prop. That's why they have ATM machines there. Very true, Chris. That's very true.
yeah.
Well, it's very exciting. I'm very excited to go pick up some new geckos and to be able to share them and to be able to see everyone at the same time. So I guess we can talk about the one little situation that happened this week. So we started this coffee and Cresties. Today's our first episode, but this has been an ongoing idea for quite some time. So I've had like worked on videos, like the background videos and the stuff, and had thought of doing this for several months at least, but didn't really jump on the horse to get it started, right? And I kind of asked you a little late to join because wasn't something that I wanted to do by myself, and I thought it'd be fun to have a co-host and kind of banter back and forth. And also, I'm waiting to have an actual logo done, which is going to be very exciting. So we'll have our own little Coffee and Cresties branding thing for when we do these podcasts.
Oh cool.
Yeah. And then last weekend, Nicoletta over at Juliana's Geckos posted a vlog called Caffeine and Cresties. And my heart just sunk and I was like, no. Which I did get a chance to watch it, and it's great. And it's not like a podcast, it's more like a vlog. And it's more, she was talking more the business side of things and social media presence, and is more kind of like a morning vlog take on a show. So definitely different than what we're gonna be doing. But I did feel a little sad, so I figured I'd bring it up in our little tea time because I don't want people to think that we're copying ideas. What are your thoughts,
Right.
April?
Well, great minds think alike, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's not so much as copying ideas. I think. I think maybe if you blatantly, like quite obviously, copied somebody else's idea and then marketed it the same way, that is, you know, obvious that they've copied. But I think you need to be different in a way, and this is judging by the way you explained it. It is quite different.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to be supportive of, like, to me, I guess I take it as flattery, and it's she was the first. She was the quickest one to jump on the idea and to pop up with it and come up with the name. So ours is slightly different, but I figured we'd use this tea time to clear the air, that we're not trying to copy, and that, we've kind of been working on this a while, and it's something that you get so invested into it, and you've done so much work to like design and come up with the segments and the whole core of the idea, that you don't want to have to restart and like rebrand and come up
Right.
with a different concept just based on the name,
Yeah. Yeah. But great minds think alike.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. So, well, we'll see. But I'm supportive. I'm supportive all the way. I think her episode was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. And we'll be coffee and Cresties, and she can have her vlog caffeine and Cresties.
Yeah, and we have different segments too, right? So tea time and then the breeders segment,
Yeah,
right? So
which is gonna come up next.
I figured.
Which I'm just realizing I don't have my things sorted out here. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try to add it to the board. Okay. I guess we could pop into that one. Do you have any other little things you want to bring up in our little tea time?
No,
Maybe next week, I'm sure.
maybe.
Trying to keep it a little PG. There's always things that I would like to bring up in a tea time, but I don't know if it's something I want to talk about right now.
Yeah, well, I did just drop a hint, you know what I mean? But I don't want to get into it right now.
Yeah, well, it could be something that we talk about next week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Let's see here. We'll pop into our next segment. Express Ho.
Okay, bye, Paul.
Oh, Paul's leaving. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thanks for tuning in.
Love the support. So our Express Ho. So this is going to be the segment we're going to have. I'm very excited about this because we already have 2 guests that are like ready to join us for our next 2 episodes. So we're going to, what we want to do. So the main thing with Coffee and Cresties is kind of like, as new breeders, we want to be able to connect with other new breeders and also be able to have a platform to allow other new breeders and smaller breeders to be able to connect with the Cresty community or gecko community, I guess, as a whole. And the reality that I've come to see is there's not many stuff out there, podcast related anyways, or content on YouTube that's really specifically directed at the Cresty community, right? So I'm wearing my lovely, there, the Gecko Pod. I'm repping Gecko Pod today, which I absolutely love. And I think the Gecko Pod is a fantastic gecko podcast right now. I'm absolutely hooked on it and watching all those episodes that are coming out. Have you been catching up on them too? The Gecko
What?
Pod,
Sorry?
the Gecko distracted.
Sorry, no, my
The Gecko
earbud fell out. I don't like these earbuds. They don't stay in.
Oh no.
Like,
I was just saying that
I know I
there's not
haven't.
much. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to catch up on them. They're awesome. But theirs is very geared towards, education and connecting people. Like they've had a lot of big breeders on there to share experiences and tips and talk about morphs, which I think is a huge opportunity for you to learn and be able to kind of get more accustomed to different morphs, like finding phantom and empty back. And so it's been a huge source of knowledge and to be able to kind of connect and learn a lot. And there's a couple other vlogs, I guess, on YouTube and some other things. But a lot of the stuff I know that comes through, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it just hasn't come in my algorithm. But a lot of the stuff that I find is lately is really geared towards, like snakes or just general reptile altogether. Have you come across any of the like YouTube stuff that's mainly crested gecko geared?
No,
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 eh?
and I remember when I was just getting into crested geckos, I was trying to find stuff like related information and stuff like that for new keepers, and I didn't find much of anything except for the stuff that you had sent me.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be great because these episodes, we're going to be keeping them mainly at like 45 minutes to an hour. So they're not going to be really long episodes. And the Gecko Hose segment is really to allow other breeders to pop on and be able to showcase their, I guess, top 5, we can say. I was thinking top 3, but the more we were doing the exercise ourselves for this episode, the more I realized it's really hard to like narrow it down to top 3. So I
It
think top
is.
5 is more of a realistic goal for people, especially when you have a lot of geckos.
Yeah.
So it'll be basically highlighting your top 5 and then getting to know new breeders and who they are and what they're working with. And I think it'll allow people to kind of see, you know, what people are working with in the hobby and kind of give a platform for exposure. So you get to learn about new breeders that you may not have found on Instagram or, you know, chosen to follow or met if you don't go to expos, or maybe they're not vending at expos, so you haven't had a chance to meet them. So we can pop on. So today we're going to do our geckos, and we've struggled trying to pick a top 5 because I love them all.
It was so hard.
It was tough. And then it's also like I'm going into my 3rd season, so I do have breeders that are more established and have done seasons, whereas this is your 1st season for geckos, so you
Yeah.
have more some up and comers and things that you're excited about, right? So let's
Yeah.
pop this on here. Add to screen. And we're starting off with April's geckos. So you just tell me when you want to flip through, but April, talk to me about your geckos.
Well, this is Poseidon from Gecko Coven. And he's out of Asylum and Aiko? I don't know. This is what his parents look like, though. Can you see that?
Nope.
No, you can't see
No,
that.
I
Okay,
can't.
whatever.
Wait, hold on, do it
Um,
again, just a sec. I'm going to put you on the big screen. There you go.
oh yeah, that
Oh,
really is working out, isn't
it's
it?
all
No, it's
rainbow.
not. Um, yeah, so he's just an extreme harlequin with a nice head. He has a really nice head and really nice structure.
Yeah.
And he's
And
visited two ladies this year.
what projects are you excited to put him into? Do you have any idea what you're working him into yet?
Right
Or
now he is, well, so Oasis, I think she's the next one actually.
oh, okay, hold on. Ta-da!
Oasis, she's laying she's laying eggs and they were fertilized by him. And she's
Okay.
from AE Geckos, Altitude Exotics in the States. She's my mystery box baby.
She's a mystery box girl, and she's chunky. She this picture doesn't do her justice because I remember when she showed up, she was massive.
Yeah, no, she's much bigger now too. It's like she's huge. She's
Yeah.
huge. She's so chubby. Like her head is actually really big considering she's a lily white too. Like her head is almost bigger than his head.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what comes out. I don't know the lineage on that because she's from Altitude.
Yeah, well, it's hard to get lineage because I think he does group breedings, right? Where he has a couple females that are very similar in with a male. So I know you
Okay.
can get from him if you look to get lineage. I think it's very from what I've heard, you can get the lineage on the male, but then it's one of these females depending on who was in that group pairing.
Oh,
But yeah, she's very pretty. And who we
that's
got
my
here?
obsession. Her name is Obsession, and she's from Exquisite Geckos out in Ottawa.
Oh, a
And
local girl.
she came out of Olympus and Hypnotic. She's so
She's got a
pretty.
lot of pattern on her, eh?
I love her so much. And she's 23 grams. I don't think she's gonna change much more.
Hmm.
I love her French crest.
Yeah,
She's
it's
so
so
pretty.
pretty.
And
We
that's
got this
Sophie.
one. Sophie.
Yeah, that's Marianne Sophie. So that was a birthday present for Marianne. And yeah, she just loves her Sophie so much. So she's from Witching Hour Reptiles, Taylor. And she
So
came out of,
so
sorry,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
she came out of Kona and Navi from Witching
Um,
Hour.
so April got in. I'm gonna spill the beans on you, but you got into the geckos very sneaky way, where you're like, I'm
I
gonna get my
did.
kids birthday presents.
Yeah, and like so it was my excuse because I was in a relationship that didn't wasn't overly supportive of my decisions.
Yeah,
Um, so I was just like, hey, so this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to search the best and nicest geckos, and I'm going to buy them for my kids for their birthday, knowing full well that I am going to be responsible for these animals and I have all intentions in breeding them in the future. I mean, it works out because they love them too, but
yeah.
it's
Well, and
just
it's
it's so
great to
funny.
kind of have them take part of it, right? Because you can kind of share the interest with them and be able to like show
Yeah,
them things and have them take part on like some of the chores.
yeah, yeah. So Marianne, she loves her Sophie.
She's very cute.
She's very pretty. And that is Secret. She's also from Witching Hour, and she's out of Whisper and Boo. She's I just weighed her actually. She's like 50 grams now, so I could probably breed her if I wanted to.
It's awesome. And so you got quite a bit of tries, eh? You're looking to do a lot of like high pattern tries. Is that like have you narrowed a focus down yet?
Yeah, so I'm thinking like the high pattern tries, and then I want to do some of the like I want to just incorporate reds into it somehow
Okay.
because I really love reds.
Yeah.
And I want to work with pinks, but I haven't found a pink line that I truly like. It's really hard, I find, though, with pictures because they'll be like, "Oh, it's pink," but in the picture it looks brown, and you're like, "Do I really want to spend money on this?" Because I can't actually see it, right?
Yeah.
So I find it like challenging with the geckos in particular, because snakes are pretty simple. Like you just have to take them outside and snap a picture. But these geckos, they're just so hard to get true photos of.
Yeah.
And with the reds and the pinks, I think that's something I would wait for an expo for, as I would just go down and actually see the gecko in person instead of
Yeah.
putting all my trust into some picture and then the gecko coming back brown.
Well, it's nice to see for them too the lineage, so you see where the parents come from and how they are. But it's true with the firing up and down, it is difficult to see what you're getting on the
Right.
color scale, right? And I mean that happens with a lot of
Yeah.
the other geckos as well, but some are a lot easier to like have a really good idea of what you're getting. The other one I find tricky too is when you're getting into like the white pattern stuff and you're not sure is it really like paper white pattern or you is it just the way the photo was being exposed? Is it really
Right.
going to
Or
be
is it cream?
green or like more of an orangey hue to it? And those ones are I find like it's tough with pictures because they're so easy to manipulate
Yeah.
and represent something that might not be what you end up getting.
Yeah, that it makes me nervous. Luckily, I've been really, really lucky with the geckos I've purchased so far. It's like offline because like the ones I got from you, I've seen in person, so there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But I've been really lucky with the ones that I've purchased so far that they're actually better than represented. So, but it's just the reds. The reds make me so nervous.
Yeah.
Because I have my red, which is my radish. And when I take a photo of her, so this girl, she is fire truck red. Like she's so red. But when I take a photo of her, she's brown. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? Why are you why are you brown on my phone?
Yeah. And, like, even with, like I got the light box and we have a Canon and I try to take, you try to get as true picture as you can, but you still have to alter it. It's like the way the light goes through the camera, you still have which is why I like taking pictures. Like, a lot of my stuff is on white, and you'll see when we come to my slides, but I find it easier to get a truer color of the gecko because I can use that white background to bring it to white. Because if I'm taking a
Right.
picture, like the white background might look grayish. So then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm editing it and I'm able to bring that white to back to true white of what it is, then it gives me a better, easier time to be able to bring the colors back to where I'm
Right.
seeing visually on the gecko.
Right. Makes
And
sense.
then you think you've done such an awesome job editing it, and then you go to post the photo and it doesn't post properly, or it doesn't look the same as how it was. Like, and it depends on where
Yeah.
you're seeing it. Like what you're seeing on your phone versus what you're seeing on your computer may have a different hue and not look right. And I was finding I was having that issue with the website because I would see, okay, well, this photo's looking great when I'm editing it on my phone, or, and then when I go to upload it on the website, it's looking either washed out or too vibrant orange, or, it's just not exactly
Right.
where it needs to be.
Right. Yeah.
See, so now we're going to pop into my geckos.
Yes, we are.
So I finally last year decided to focus on specific projects and was able to kind of narrow down, and I think I needed, and you're going to find, like, you too, you're going to go through those, right, April? Like, you get all these things, and then the more you work with them and the more you see what's out there, the more you kind of find niche areas where you kind of want to really
Yeah.
feel like passionate about, that you really like and want to work with. And this girl is like one of my first. She was actually, so I got that one gecko, and then after I got that gecko, I said, I want to get more. And then she's from I bought her from a breeder, Lanny Geckos in Ottawa, who I don't think is currently doing anything. I think Lanny is on hiatus right now and sold a lot of her breeders. And this was one that she had purchased and I had got as a juvenile. And to me, I was just really excited. I'm like, oh, I'm getting this really nice yellow gecko. And at that time, I'm like, I had no idea the different morphs and what could potentially be in this gecko. Well, I mean, she turns out to be, well, we know the phantom, but she turns out to be empty back, which I now see on her tail, seeing the gecko pod stuff, and like with the little, they were saying dashes on the tail, and you can see the empty back. Well, she clearly has them on her tail. And everything that she's produced last season is basically all empty back. Like it's all been, so it's either like super, not super empty back, but like really, really cleaned out where it's very, very obvious, or at least has some sort of characteristic to it where you can tell it's starting to eat away at the pattern on the dorsal, especially near the base of the tail. And so with breeding her last season, I got really into empty back stuff and really started looking and researching it, and kind of fell down that rabbit hole of empty back. So that's basically one of my main things. And now I'm like, oh, I want to, and I had bred her to a lily, wanting to make some nice flashy, hopefully yellow lilies or something, not really having an idea, of how it was going to work because I'm still new. But I ended up making all these really cool head empty back lily whites, which I've held back. So that's kind of my project for this is Stowaway. And she is my absolute. She's probably, I put her as my second favorite. She would be my number one favorite gecko that I have if she didn't always try to crap on me every time I took her out of her enclosure. Every time I take her, and I took her out to take this photo, and I could see her tail moving, and I'm like, "You're gonna do it. I know you are." And I'm like, "It's gonna land on me." It's like I expect it every
Ick.
time, which is kind of icky. So sometimes I'll hold her over her enclosure, and I'm like, I know she's gonna do it, so at least like do it somewhere where it's not gonna be all over, my leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's her only downfall. But other than that, like she's sweet. She had like 10 clutches last year. So she was
Holy.
yeah, she was quite she's quite the producer, but and chunky. Like she's massive now. Um but yeah, she's definitely one of my faves. And this is Diablo. So he was a pickup, I guess it would have been in the fall or early winter. So I got him from Modern Gecko. And Diablo is a red phantom lily, and he's 50% exanthic. And she's making fun of my old lady hands
I
because I
just
have
seen that,
really
yeah.
and yes, we know I have really wrinkly hands. Thank you. They're tiny, but they're like old lady hands. So Diablo, hopefully Shauna. I know, eh? They're so sexy. I moisturize them as much as I can. But hey, it is what it is. Um, yeah, so like with him, I want to prove out his Xanthic. Like I'm really hoping he does prove out to be Xanthic because he's so cool. And
Mm,
I need to
he
kind of
is
work him
cool.
into some Lily projects with Xanthic, but I have him here because he's like he's new and I'm really excited about him and I think he's gonna be a really good staple here for our breeding. And he's like nice structure and he's just so sweet. I love him. And I'm a sucker for like a phantom lily. And then there's Bowser.
Bowser. I have a Bowser baby right now.
You do.
I
Bane.
do. And I have 2 eggs in the incubator.
Yeah, I'm excited to see because I was like, it wasn't like the most successful. I find like she laid a lot of duds and then we got little Bane, but I'm really excited to see the
Yeah.
other ones that they're gonna produce. So he came with Cammy, and you're gonna have to remind me where Cammy came from because I got Bowser through a purchase that you made.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where Cammy came from. So there's no lineage on Cammy's like where she originated from, but they both came from Passion One reptiles.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I just don't know where they originated from.
yeah, yeah. I know, Chris, those crests. So Bowser, I'm I just fell in love with him when I saw him because of his head. His head is massive, and the crest just like flopped down. And I love labs. So I have some grow ups that I want. Like I have a lavender lily white with tangerine that I'm thinking of potentially pairing with him. And he's paired with Monroe this year. So
Nice.
he's right now with a red like extreme Harley with tigerings. So like the last time she was paired with the lav, the offspring that we got from that pairing was absolutely phenomenal. And so I'm really kind of excited. And for him, it's mainly structure. Like I really liked him because of the fact that he would bring that nice big head and kind of pass down. And he has the full pins, right? Like so
Yeah.
for pinstripe projects too, and maybe working him into some of those empty back projects in due time. It would be
Hmm.
kind of nice to do that, but I haven't fully had a whole plan for him. But he's like my favorite, and he's like a little potato. And I'm not gonna lie, he's probably on the list just because he's the sweetest thing ever, and he constantly chirps at you. I think Cammy was doing the little chirpy things too, eh?
She doesn't chirp anymore.
No? Well, he still chirps. He was
No.
chirping yesterday.
She's chill now. She doesn't even care. Like she just doesn't chirp. I'm like, well, you were so cute when you chirped. Why don't you chirp for me? She's like, no.
His are so quiet too, they're almost like you can barely hear them, and you just know he's doing it if you get, like, close up to
Yeah.
him. And so this is one of my up and comers. She's still too small to be in the breeding, program right now, but she was kind of like a random find. I won't get into it. She has no lineage. And from what I can gather, appears to be a super soft scale, empty back. Now, she's like velvet soft, like her, and you've seen her in person, eh? Like
Yeah.
her color just pops on her. I just love like how the pinstriping comes down into her crests. And the plan with her is I want to eventually work her into um the empty back lily white project.
Mm.
So all those hatchlings that I have, I'm hoping that one of my holdbacks is going to be male, which I've held back quite a few. So I If I don't get a male out of these holdbacks, it'd be really terrible luck.
Yeah.
So once I can grow up one of my holdbacks and she's up to size, that's going to be the pairing with her. So she's going to go to a lily white head empty back. And then we'll see what happens, what comes from it. But fingers crossed, I think they're going to be really cool.
Yeah, she's really pretty.
Scale. Especially with the soft scale to like make it pop, you know?
Right.
And I have an honorable mention. It's another one from Modern Gecko. So I like fell in love with this gecko he has on his Instagram. The dad to this gecko is his gecko Magic Mike, who has a lot of like pink kind of pattern. And I found it was really, really unique. And I really I was finally able to capture the pink in this picture, because this is exactly how it looks. Like there's no there's editing to get to the true color, but this is how it looks when you see it in person. It's very rosy, very pink. So I'm not sure like how I'll work it into projects, but clearly he's able, like the dad was able to pass it on because Magic Mike has the pink. The mom for this one is Shorty. And so it passed on to this hatchling as well, because this hatchling also has that pink tone.
Very
so
pretty.
This one is just kind of, I'm excited about it because of the hue of the color, and I want to see if that's something that can continue to be kind of duplicated. But I have zero idea what plans I have for him for breeding. We won't get to it, and like I won't even start thinking about it until I can grow them out and then go from there. So those are my top geckos.
Love it.
And that's it for that. And we're almost hit the hour mark. Surprisingly enough, we filled an hour.
Yay! That's so awesome.
It's crazy.
Actually, that's great.
Yeah. Any last minute thoughts? Next week, we're going to have April from the Gecko Hub, who's going to join us for the espresso segment and share her top favorite geckos. So that'll be exciting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks everyone for joining us. I don't really have any last minute stuff to kind of end on. Do you have anything else you want to bring up today?
No.
Still enjoying the coffee. I feel like I did a lot of talking, not a lot of coffee drinking.
I need another one. Daylight savings. I'm so tired. Like for a Sunday, I want to go back to bed.
Well, technically, it's supposed to be like 8:00. So
Right.
So it feels a lot earlier than it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for our very first episode. We had a couple hiccups that, it's bound to be expected. It's going to happen. And hopefully we won't have as many issues next week. And it's just going to get better moving on, right?
Yes, yes.
Next week it'll be my mic.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's the first episode, and I think at the end of the day, just minor little hiccups is normal. It's going to happen, right? And then
Right.
we'll grow from there. So thanks everybody, and have a great morning. Enjoy your Sunday and have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you.